はい、どうも、ようこそ、ワンツーチャンネルへ。ゆっくりしていってね。前回の続きからやっていきます。まだ見てない人は前回のも見てね。
We got along and it was a good place to hide from my mom.
そうだ、ここは ED ひおばあちゃんの部屋だ。
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune.
なるほど。オーディン、この人はこれだけか
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
こんなんいるって言われたらそりゃ怒るわ。
Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
モーリーの部屋の肖像画もイーディが描いたのか
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
そうか、ドラゴンの話もイーディが話してたのか
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
可愛い鳥の扉の部屋がここだったんだ。すごいピンクバスルーム。
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace. There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
めちゃめちゃ楽しいなこれ。
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
ここは暗室かスベンがひいおじいちゃんで、サムがおじいちゃんだよねきっと。特に何もないな。このゲーム、すべてが可愛すぎないか。
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin, and that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
動かすのか?
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
降りれないんです。助けて。か、ぐるりと一周するまで漕ぎ続けるのか。
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly, and he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
確かに、ブランコで一周できそうだなって結構みんな思うよね。
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
なんだって?文字があっちに流れていったぞ、あっちか。
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Now もうすぐハロウィンの季節ですね。
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
それでは、今日はこの辺で、ご視聴ありがとうございました。